What's going on, guys? It's Kai back here with another video, and today I want to talk about what happened last night in the Portland Trailblazers season opener. It's been a very long off season. There's been a lot of talk. To be honest, it's probably one of the most uncertain feeling off seasons in quite some time, if we're being honest. So it was nice to finally be able to just look past all the crap this off season and just watch them play basketball. So let's talk about that. And I think you got to start that off by giving credit to the Sacramento Kings, because to be honest, they played a hell of a game last night. Harrison Barnes, looked like Kevin Durant pretty much the entire game. Richaun Holmes was unstoppable in the paint. Richaun Holmes is really funny because every time I've watched the Kings play, he just doesn't miss a shot. Like that little float shot that he does, it's like a 95%er. Anyone that's watched them would know that. It's so weird. But anyway, they played a really good game, and one person I really want to shout out is Davion Mitchell. Like, I knew he was a clamper from college, but go watch that game. It was points where Lillard for sure looked like he was second guessing a few moves. He wouldn't say that he was doing that, but like definitely long term that dude's gonna be a problem on the defensive end. He only shot 1 for 6, so if you didn't watch the game, you would have no idea he had an impact. But to be honest, he was probably their second most impactful player yesterday. And then De'Aaron Fox, it's funny because you want him to shoot threes. That's kind of what you want him to do. You don't want him to go downhill attack you because that's where he's really good. But he's kind of improved his jump shot to a point where you have to respect it. So it kind of opens it up even more. You got to give credit where credit is due. Sacramento came to Portland yesterday and really took that game from us, for sure. Now, let's talk about Portland's side of things. And I think the first thing you got to start with is Damian Lillard didn't hit a 3 yesterday. And that's just not going to happen very often. Richaun Holmes also hit a fucking crazy 3 where he wasn't even looking at the basket. So you take some of these crazy plays out and some more expected plays that would happen. And I think we realistically should have probably won that game yesterday, but it's better to get these losses out now. But Lillard yesterday in the offense, there was points where he looked like he was getting easier shots. Even the ones he missed, some of the mid-ranges, he was getting open looks off of more movement off the ball in this new offense that I definitely noticed, even with the stats not implicating it. Norman Powell and Covington didn't have the greatest games. Covington kind of got torched by Harrison Barnes the entire game, and Powell, he's going to get his looks some nights, but he had a really nice play that got waved off, so that was also unfortunate in a game when you lose by 3. But let's talk about Jusuf Nurkic and Cody Zeller a little bit, because first of all, Cody Zeller last night, in my opinion, is going to be the embodiment of Portland Trailblazer basketball. Like, there's been points in the past couple of years where when Nurkic has played, I've been very upset with his inside finishing. They brought that up in the game where Billups has said he's got to be better, so that's good. But he's been very soft in the paint for a guy that's 300 pounds. He's not always the most motivated. But Cody Zeller is the exact opposite of that. He came in the game yesterday and had like 3 plays that probably wouldn't even show up on the stat sheet that for sure switched the momentum at the time. Like, he ripped the ball from somebody, he out-rebounded over 2 people, got an offensive rebound, drew 2 fouls. Like, that guy is a ball player, and I love watching him play. And it's so funny because he's so goofy looking, but he's just so good, and I love it. I can't wait to watch him play more this season compared to Cantor, where Cantor and Melo, you just were hoping that they would miss pretty much. But Zeller looked really good yesterday. I also want to talk about Anthony Simons. Came off the bench and looked really good yesterday. He had 4 assists, which is probably pretty close to a career high. That guy's not been asked to pass under Terry Stotts' offense in the past his entire career. But Billups has straight up said if he wants to play any minutes this year with 2 really good guards in front of him, or 3 now with Powell too, he's got to be a facilitator. And yesterday he really showed that. He got in the paint, he fed some people, some plays that you wouldn't normally expect to see from him that he made. That was really positive, reinforcing to see. A couple other guys made a little bit of impact. Covington made 2 threes, Larry Nance didn't have as big as an impact as I expected him to have in 17 minutes. He did have 2 assists and 3 rebounds, but he kind of seemed like he hadn't found his role completely in the offense, but that's to be expected. This is brand new. Nasir Little, though, I did like what I seen in his 16 minutes. He played pretty hard defense and had a couple good drives, even the ones he missed. But overall, I think if he continues to just slow the game down for him, like, he's going to be really good. As my player snatch blocks that shit, give me that. I really like the bench unit this year. I think it's only going to get better with more cohesion. I think there's a balance with defense and scoring where the balance wasn't really there in previous years. So that's really good to see. But like I was talking about with Nurkic earlier, overall, he had a good game. You like to see a couple of those, illegal screens picked up. We have seen that too often where he's just moving on screens and it's turnover. We got to improve on that. But McCollum had a really good game after a really shitty start. He ended with a really good game in the most CJ McCollum way possible. But it's ironic because after a terrible start where he looked like he was the only guy not in the flow of the offense and not playing defense and, taking poor shots, he ends up being the only guy at the end that can carry us to the end. So it's a weird balance with him. You'd wonder if after 34 points in opening night, his trade value would go up and we'd think about trading him at this point for Ben Simmons potentially, but I don't really know what our overall stance is in that, if we're just kind of just seeing if it's available or not, if we really want him. So overall, even in a night where you lose your opening game at home to the Sacramento Kings, there were still a lot of positive things I saw in Chauncey Billups' that was his head coach debut. I saw a lot of positive things. There was definitely things that need to be cleaned up. The second quarter was really bad on both sides, a lot of fouling, but overall I think this team potentially could go far. It's a weird thing to think, because the West is stacked. I don't think the Sacramento Kings are that bad. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but they have a lot of firepower, and they kind of got some defense too. So you're looking at the Western Conference, there's not that many bad teams. It's going to be an interesting year, but I think Portland could make a run at maybe being a 5 seed at the best, 4 seed at the best, home court at the bottom end, but the West is really stacked, like I said, so hopefully we make the playoffs at least with Billups, keep Lillard happy, hopefully make an upset in the first round. But that's all I got for today, so if you like the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.